ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Let us offer our humble obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai and Srila Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the last class, that is in the 16th chapter, the divine and demonic natures of the living entity we have elaborately studied. So this is the chapter is called Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, or the divine and demonic natures. Then discuss the significance of the word Abhijatasya, how a person is born with those qualities, and his previous activities, previous life activities, how it is having in the influence on the present life, and based on that the living entity gets different types of body. Then examples for divine and demonic natures from the current world affairs, and also we have seen the examples for Ugra Karma, how society is engaged in the practice of Ugra Karma, and the destination of those people who are demonic. Krishna is telling, I will put them in the lowest species of life. So in this way, the 16th chapter we have seen. Finally, in the 16th chapter, we have concluded that the person who is following the Shastra, he is divine, and one who is not following the Shastra, he is demonic. If you see that last shloka of this 16th chapter, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Karya Vyavastitau Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Miharhasi. That means one who is following the Shastra, he is divine, and one who is not following the Shastra, he is demonic. So Krishna made two clear-cut understanding. But this is not enough, because there are people who do not follow the Shastra, but still they have certain kind of faith, and they will practice in their own way. They have their own way of spirituality. So what about these people? Where to put them? They neither completely demonic, or they are not even divine, or they are not in complete Sattva Guna or Shuddha Sattva also. So these people, we have to divide them again into different categories to understand where do they stand or where do we stand, and whether do we are also having such kind of practices. So that will be done in the present chapter, that is chapter number 7. Based on different kinds of faith or practices a person is having, we can divide him into three categories, that is the sattva, rajas and tamas, that is goodness, passion and ignorance. So this 17th chapter begins with the same question from Arjuna is asking Krishna, same question. So what Krishna, here you can see, या शास्त्र विधिमुत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम. This is the shloka from 16th chapter 23rd verse, that is previous chapter. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, one who is not following the shastra, ya shastram vidhim utsrujya vartate kamakaratah, one who is acting whimsically, he will not be happy either in this world or in the next life or next wherever he is going. Both he will be in difficulty. That means following shastra is the criteria to decide whether a person is divine or demonic. Now Arjuna's question begins with the same way. So this is the meaning. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Now Arjuna is asking about the same. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is linked to the previous chapter. So if we see the previous chapter, previous shloka, the ending shloka, and the next chapter beginning shloka, there will be some link between the two. So here if you see, these shlokas are similar, that is 6.23 and 7.1. It is very much similar shloka that Arjuna is asking. He is saying, Arjuna uvacha, ya shastra vidhimutsrujya vartate yajante shraddhayanvita tesham nishtha tu ka Krishna sattvamaho rajastamaha. So now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his opposition? Because these kind of practices, it is not recommended in the Shastra. Recommended in the sense, it is not for the good of the person, the ultimate good. It may give some temporary relief or some satisfaction, but it is not for the ultimate good of the person. So such practices, how we should look at it, or what is their position, where do they belong to? So these kind of practices or people will be divided into three parts. That is based on the modes in which they are acting. So Arjuna is answering the same question here. The 17.2, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Trividha bhavati shraddha. Three kinds of faiths are present. Dehinam sa swabhavaja. Based on the swabhava of the person, according to the mode of the material nature. That is based on the person's swabhava. There are three ways you can identify them. That means these people are under the modes. Based on the different types of modes, they are acting or practicing, behaving in so many different ways. So Srila Prabhupada says, as long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. Every person wants to practice some kind of faith. The practice of faith, or the concept of faith, is present everywhere. Even if we see the aborigines or those who live in the jungles, they will also have a certain kind of God. They'll have their own way of worship. So this worshipping is there everywhere. It is a part of living entity. Every human being has certain kind of practice. But how these practices will be, it is based on the mode of the person. That means what kind of mode he is present, that kind of practice he likes. If a person is in the mode of ignorance, and if we suggest him the practice in the mode of goodness, he will not like it, because the modes are not matching. So for a particular person, if he is in the goodness or passion or ignorance, that particular mode of practice only will be okay for them. That means they will practice that with more interest or with more eagerness. But that cannot be accepted as the ultimate, or it is not the one which is beyond the three modes. That means he is practicing some faith within the three modes itself. So what Prabhupada is clearly telling here, it cannot be considered. That means as long as one faith is not completely purified, it is subjected to contamination, but by any of the material nature, modes of the material nature. And it will expand to the heart, and according to the position of the heart in contact, a particular mode of material nature is one's faith is established. The modes are controlling him. That means he is still in the material concept. The person is still under the control of the three modes, and this practice can be in any of the modes. Actually, Krishna consciousness begins when a person is beyond the Sattva Guna. That means whenever we are practicing Krishna consciousness, actually it is free from all the three modes, or at least a person has to come to the mode of goodness, and then when he practices more and more, he will come to the Shuddha Sattva, or the free from all the three modes of material nature. And only in that situation a person can go back to Godhead. Otherwise, based on the faith, based on the mode which a person has developed, he will have certain kind of result for whatever practice he is making, because every tapasya will have some result. Every austerity a person performs, it will have some result. It may be good or bad. It will be a temporary benefit that he may get. So such kind of faith is divided based on the three modes of material nature. Anybody would like to read? You can raise their hand. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Divisions of faith. So people are being controlled by the three kinds of material nature, and if they do not follow the Shastric injunction, then he will create something according to his position, either in the Tamoguna or Rajoguna or Sattvaguna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This we can see in the society also. People who try to make their own way of worship or the practices, they'll end up with some kind of concoction. Here, concoction means the person is not referring to the Shastra, what is told in the Shastra. Whatever I like, I explain, or whatever I feel like, I will do it. But this is like simply a disturbance in the society. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpata Eva Kalpate. That means a person who is practicing certain kind of spirituality or certain kind of faith he is practicing without the reference to Shruti, Smriti and Pancharatra Vidhi, then it is simply Utpata. It is simply a disturbance in the society. It will not have a spiritual benefit or the ultimate benefit of human life. One cannot get it. So this should not be done. At any cost, one has to take to the guidance of the Shruti, Smriti, Purana. Why? Because it's just like the market has so many kinds of books. Somebody cannot just go and buy some books and he cannot become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. He has to take admission to the college and get certified for having that degree. then only he will be able to practice that. Otherwise, the person, even though he has some kind of knowledge, you cannot take him for any kind of responsibility, because what kind of knowledge he has got, it is not complete, because he doesn't have a guru, or he doesn't have a proper authority who has certified. Just like every degree, at the end we will certify the person. This person is certified with a certain kind of qualification, and he is able to do this kind of task. So that kind of certification will not be there. So what is the basis for such people? It is their own mental concoction, or based on their interest, to whatever interest they have taken in studying those books, only so much they will get. But if they are under the guidance of a spiritual master or Guru Sadhu Shastra, then the person is guaranteed that he will definitely knowing all the intricacies of this Shastra. So he will not go out of the track. But if a person is trying himself to understand about the Shastra, or he is not referring to the Guru or the any institution, then he will finally end up with the certain kind of practice which may attract some people. He may get some followers, but it will not have the real effect of taking a person back to Godhead. This will be the result of not surrendering oneself to the lineage, the parampara system, or the Guru Sadhu Shastra. Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Divisions of faith. He is going on conducting himself under the influence of same modes of nature, but those means superficially doing something in the tamoguna. He will not be successful. He will not be successful. Yeah. Shastram vidim utrashrij vartate kama. Bhagavad Gita 17.123. Honolulu, July 4, 1974. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, the person, he may have certain kind of practices which may be against the Shastra. He will do that practices only because he likes it, or only because he found some result from that. So he will just make some adjustment with the Shastra, and he will allow the people to practice that. And the people who just want to know that they are just spiritual, even though they have many kinds of bad habits, or they have many kinds of addiction, but because they have certain person who is certifying them, or who is just telling them, okay, this is also spirituality. Just like there are people who are drug addicts, they will also have certain kind of faith, and they will say, we are also practicing spirituality. But what kind of spirituality it is? It is having now, it doesn't have the real benefit. Or a person who is spiritual, he will be, finally he has to understand who is God, what he is, what God is, and what is the relationship between me and God, and how to re-establish that lost connection between myself and the Lord. All these questions has to be answered when a person is practicing spirituality. If it is not being answered, then that kind of practices are in the material platform. It is not in the spiritual platform. So this kind of practices should be avoided. It should not be practiced. As Srila Prabhupada says, our chanting of Hare Krishna, it is in the spiritual platform. When we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no need of any mental adjustment or intellectual concoction. You just chant, you just speak and hear. That is enough. The holy name will take care of everything. There is no need of making any concoction, or no need of making giving any theory about the chanting of the holy name or practice of Krishna consciousness. It is self-evident. Anybody who practices this, they will themselves will realize how this is making change in the life of so many people. So many devotees are taking advantage of it, how it is transforming the people, how people are coming to the mode of goodness and transcending the three modes. All these things are happening and it is self-evident. So this is real spirituality. But if we find someone is taking to so-called practice of spirituality and they still struggle with the material modes, or there is no hope of being coming out of this hopes, or if it is being justified, the the problems or the mistakes that they are having, just they will just cover it up with the name of spirituality. All these things are not real spirituality, or they are not divine, as it is told in the 16th chapter. Those divine qualities will not be visible in such people. Only by practicing Krishna consciousness, only by becoming devotees of the Lord, a person can develop all these qualities. Otherwise, it is not possible. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Those qualities, 26 qualities, it will appear in a person only if he is a devotee of the Lord, and a person can practice devotional service only if he is surrendering to the Guru Sadhu Shastra, one who is coming in the disciplic succession, that is in the parampara system. Otherwise, he is simply wasting his time. He is simply making a show that is creating trouble in the society. Jayanti Mataji. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. 17.3 purport.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So this we can see even today in the society. There are so many kinds of religious systems which are there in practice, and they are under the three modes, or based on the desire of the people. The people like certain kind of practices, and similar kind of activities will be included in such practices, and there will be more and more people coming together, and they will make the association, and they will call that itself as some spirituality. But it is in the three modes. They're coming under the three modes of material nature. So because of this, such practices should not be performed. Based on the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that any practice that which doesn't take one towards the Lord, or towards developing these godly qualities, whatever listed in the 16th chapter, if it is not taking us to such practices, developing such qualities, then such practices of faith, it should not be entertained, or it should not be encouraged. Now here is an activity for all of us. As Prabhupada has given chapter, this 17th chapter 1 to 3, shloka number 1 to 3, you can read them. Give specific reference to Krishna's analysis of faith in the modes as described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 verses 1 to 3 in your presentation, and compare these practices to the practice of Krishna consciousness, how it is related to Krishna consciousness. So the question is, what are the different faith that are described in this chapter under different three types of modes? And then we can compare these to Krishna consciousness, practice of Krishna consciousness, how it is being practiced, how it is different. The Krishna consciousness practice is different from such kind of practices which are coming under three modes. So this is the question. Anyone not understood the question, they can raise their hand. Others can lower their hand. The question is, Prabhupada has given the analysis in 1, 2, 3. I already given this as a reading activity. So analyze the faith in 3 modes and compare it with the practice of Krishna consciousness. Hope everyone got the question. Little difficult question. And my request is don't use any of the institution name, any person's name here. We are only interested in understanding the principles. So only principles can be discussed here. So you have 5 minutes time for the discussion and 2 minutes for presentation. Hope everyone got the question. You have 5 minutes for discussion and 2 minutes for presentation. There are 19 people here. Okay, shall I make 4 groups? Muralidhar Prabhu? Okay.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes.
Yeah. I understood your lip movement. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah, rooms are open.
Deepti Mataji, you can raise your hand. Nobody has raised so far.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Continue. Yeah, Deepti Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the discussion that we had in our group was when we talk about the analysis. So basically, based on the modes of nature that we acquire, actually, a person who follows the Vedic scriptures, there is a possibility for him to achieve the transcendental state because he is going to inculcate those divine qualities in himself. Otherwise, there are people, as we have we just discussed, that there are people, they practice different kinds of faith, and based on the faith, they have different types of religions, basically, which they follow out of mental concoctions or whimsically. But that is not what is the purpose of the Vedas, as we all know. Not only that, why they get attracted to such kind of practices is also, it is based on the previous activities, past deeds and desires, and accordingly they will associate with such kind of people. So their association also depends on the kinds of modes of material nature. So they're going to mingle with such people, they'll try to find such company. And as you rightly mentioned, if a person is in the mode of goodness, it will be very difficult for him to associate with a person who is in the mode of passion or ignorance, because the practices or the beliefs that he is going to have in his mind will be totally different from such people. This is what we have understood, because they will have a different type of mentality. So when we come in this material world, since we are due to our forgetfulness nature, we start lauding it over the material nature, because we start thinking from the bodily conception of life, and that is where this artificial faith comes into picture. Because whatever we are practicing here is totally on material platform. Until and unless we become nirguna, what is our constitutional position, the transcendental state, we'll be very far from achieving our goal of perfection, and that is Bhagavad Dham. And since it is directly associated with our heart, because it expands the material, when we practice these three modes, we totally think from the heart. So when we do the chanting, it's basically cleansing our heart. So it is helping us in regaining our lost consciousness, and that is what we are trying to achieve. So this is what we have understood, Prabhuji, that until and unless we really take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra under the proper guidance of a spiritual master, we'll be very far, and that is our goal. We have to go to Bhagavad Dham, and that is what we are trying to achieve. So this is very important for all the people, that they, and even Lord has said Sarva Dharman Parityajya. So where it is mentioned that you should leave all the religions. So these are the different types of religions that are being referred to, are different faiths basically, that we should really follow and surrender unto him. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. Shailaja Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Actually, I could not participate much in the discussion with my group because of the unstable net connectivity. But I just want to point out certain things which I noted since you asked us to read it. So in this case, we all, the living entities, we are part and parcel of the Lord. We are just having the same quality as that of Lord, and we are coming under the category Nirguna. So basically, we all are in goodness. But when we come to the material world, different gunas, and because of these three different gunas, we may fall into three of the categories. The three different goodness, passion, or
network problem is that.
And it may be in various degrees. But if you are in ignorant state, if a person is coming in contact with the this one spiritual master or the devotee, he can elevate into the goodness. So that person can get a complete knowledge if he is endeavoring continuously by the guidance of a spiritual spiritual master. This is one thing. And Krishna, Shuddha Sattva, those who are different modes, only such people will feel subordinate to them. But people are either manly gods or they will do some mental concoctions. But in all the three different states, they are into some sort of goodness only, but it is not at all purified. It is highly contaminated because all of them are in the conditioned state. All such people should go to Krishna consciousness, or should go in the sense, no, they should get a chance to go to Krishna consciousness if they are in contact with the Krishna devotees or the spiritual master. He only can save this kind of population, because many a times we are approaching gods, the demigods mainly, for material gains. So that can be taken as passion or ignorance. And those who are into Krishna consciousness, they know that Krishna will look after for everything. So they will not definitely ask for material gains. So that is supposed to be the Shuddha Sattva, or they are in pure goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare.
Yeah. So, Prabhuji, basically, we all develop these three different modes based on our previous activities and the association with different modes. So, unless we surrender to a bona fide Acharya or Guru, we cannot come out. So that is why it is very important. Like we say, Agnana Tibirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya, because we are all in the that ignorance. Only a Guru can bring us to the. He can give the right knowledge and bring us. So in Krishna consciousness, why it is the practices are really very practical, because whatever Prabhupada has given the process, and even the devotional service itself is purifying. Because in other things like Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga and all, like one has to control his senses, and then they have to come to to understanding of God. But then here, Krishna consciousness, through the process, the person can switch from, there is an option like he can he get purified by chanting the chant the holy name, and then while purified, the person can get uplifted from the lower mode to the higher mode, also by following these regulative principles. So because they are also, it is said like they are also live in the spiritual world, everything is live. When somebody is when we follow the regulative principle, they also give us the strength. So basically the one thing in this one, we see the meat eating thing is there, when that is avoided, because that is born out of ignorance. When a person gives up that in Krishna consciousness, obviously he will come to a higher mode. He will be in mode of goodness. So in mode of goodness, the person get to see things as it is, that he gets clarity, and we see that how all the gates get eliminated. That's what we see in the Bhagavad Gita, in the mode of goodness. So when that clarity comes, obviously the person is able to associate with the right things in life. And also the other thing is that the food we offer to Krishna also, through taking Krishna Prasad, so it will also work on our consciousness level. So it will purify our consciousness and mind. And that's how this will lead to a path of we get interested in liberation and self-realization. So this process is 100%. I mean to say, like, Krishna conscious process itself is purifying. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Harini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So usually what is happening here, we are part and parcel of the Lord. So qualitatively, we have the same characteristics of the Lord in terms of our soul. It is eternal, it is transcendental. Now, when we come to this material platform, when we come to this material world, we are contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Now here, Arjuna is asking Krishna, what happened to someone who is following the Vedas, but is also following some rules and regulation, which is not mentioned in the scriptures. So this is where Krishna is saying that that person is simply following his natural instinct. And this natural instinct will lead him to the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So usually our duty is to follow the Vedas, to follow everything that is stated in the Vedas. But if we go outside that, then what happens? We are preparing some rules and regulations which is not found in the Vedas. Then we are subjected to these three modes of material nature, that is goodness, passion, and ignorance. But originally, our soul is transcendental. So in this material world, whatever we do, if we are under these three modes of material nature, whatever kind of activities we do, the food that we are eating, the sacrifices that we are doing, the charity that we are doing, the austerity that we are doing, all these will be subjected to these three modes of material nature. Now, in terms of faith, what is important is that we come to the platform of pure goodness, because it is only in pure goodness that we can realize God, we can know Krishna, we can rise above these three modes of material nature. And how can we develop that is through the association of a spiritual master, because the spiritual master has seen the truth. The spiritual master is the one who is going to guide us, who is going to elevate us above these three modes of material nature, because from him you are going to get that knowledge from which we can elevate ourselves in our spiritual life. So, like that.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Muralidhar Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is just to add a point that we missed out in the presentation. Deeptiji was reminding me. We need to elevate ourselves to the mode of goodness, reach a stage of nirguna, and move to the transcendental platform. And be careful that there are so many things that may pull you down. It could be an associate, it could be a famous person, and a person who's considered like God. So one point that attracted my attention too, that we recall during the Second World War, a man in Calcutta worshipped Hitler because thanks to that war, he had amassed a great deal of wealth, and by dealing in the black market. It is as good as, wondering that Hitler is somebody associated with demigod Lakshmi for the wealth that the person accumulated. So we also need to be very clear as to whom are we associating with, what are we eating, what are we talking, where are we staying, and all these things still may just move you to the level of goodness. And I think it is moving to the level of goodness minimum that will take you to the next level of nirguna nature and transcendental kind, and bring you to people who are in goodness also. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Karunamai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I also wanted to add a little bit.
Yes, Prabhu.
I like that information about blind faith. So blind faith. So we should not accept anything blindly, just like we are coming to Krishna consciousness, and we also should not accept everything blindly. And then Srila Prabhupada continues that we need to consider everything with intelligence properly, not blindly. Accept.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So in the different modes, we have different types of worship. The people who are in goodness, they will worship the demigods for a particular purpose, for getting certain kind of benefit. And a person who is in passion, he will worship the demons for making certain kind of achievement. And then a person who is in ignorance, he will worship the ghost and spirit. So in this way, the three kinds of modes, that is good, ignorance, passion, and goodness, will have different types of worship. It's like people who worship the politicians. They'll make so many manifesto for them, and somehow they will get something from them, either money or position. All these things are the worship in the three modes. Either they will worship the demigods or demons, or the some kind of ghost. People create some magics. There are certain kind of black magic. They control the ghost. The ghost will come under their control, and whatever they say, the ghost will work accordingly. And for the people who are not knowing about it, for them everything looks magic. But the person who is practicing such things, he is just making use of this ghost who are under his control. So all these things, it will only help a person to make something in this material world. It is just like even the advanced science also can give you such kind of result. The people who try to attract the public, the followers, by making such kind of magic. It is only material. It doesn't have anything to do with the spirituality. So it is finally it is not giving the final actual result. It's called the in Nyaya Shastra there is a saying that Ajagala Sthana Nyaya. That means the goat which has the nipple on its neck, it will also look like the nipple, but there is no milk. The cow gives the milk, but you cannot take the milk from that. Similarly, these practices of spirituality, it looks like some kind of spirituality, and whatever activities these people are doing, even though it is condemned in the Shastra, it will be glorified in such kind of communities. So they will get some acceptance, and instead of being ashamed of doing such activity, they will take the protection from the so-called religious practices, and they'll continue their life. Being ignorant, they will not be knowing that this is not taking them anywhere. They will just remain here in the material world, and it will even degrade them because they have to take the reaction of all those things. Okay, let us continue our discussion.
Can we have the Kirtan now?
Yes, Prabhu, please. I forgot.
It's ready.
Who is doing, Prabhu? Sarita Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You want to share, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I made you host.
Okay, so this is a long verse, Gopi Git. So the first 10 verses I will be singing today, Prabhuji. So the song name, Jayati Te Dikam, is official name is Gopi Git, sung by gopis of Vrindavan. Gopya uchuhu Jayati Te Dikam Janmana Vrajaha Shrayata Indira Shashvadatrahi Daita Deshyata Dikshutavakas Vaidrita Shvata Swam Vichinvate Sharadudashaye Sadhu Jatasat Tarasi Jodara Shri Mushadrisha Suratanatate Shulkadashika Varadanignato Neha Kimbadaha Vishajalaapyayat Vyalarakshasat Vashamarutat Vaidyutanalat Vrishamaya Jalat Vishvato Bayat Rishabhate Vayam Rakshita Muhu Nakalu Gopika Nandana Bhavan Akila Dehina Antaratmadrip Vikshana Sato Iti Vishwaguptaye Takahu Dehivan Tatvatam Kule Virachita Bhayam Drishti Duraye Charanam Yushayam स्मर्शितेर्भयात् करुषरोरुहं कान्तकामदां शिरसि देहिनीना श्रीकरं ग्रहाम् व्रजजनारती अन्विराशितां निजजना स्मया वंशना स्मितां भज सखे भगा किङ्करैस्मनो चलरुदाहना चारुदर्शया प्रणतदेहिनां पापकर्षणां ऋणचरानुगां श्रीनिकेतनां पनिपनार्पितं ते पदाम्बुजं कृनुकुचेषु नः कृन्दिरुच्चयम् मधुरया गिरा वाल्गुवाक्यया पुदमनुष्यजा पुष्करे क्षणा विधिकरीरिमा वीरमुह्यते अधरशिहुनाप्य यश्वसानः तव कथामृतां तप्तजीवनां कविभिरीडितां कल्मषापहां श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदे जनः प्रहसितं प्रिया प्रेमवीक्षणं विरहनं च ते ध्यानमङ्गलम् रहसि संविदो यारिति स्पृहा कुहकवनो मना शोभयन्ति जयति तेऽधिकं जन्मना व्रजः श्रयत इंदिरा शाश्वतत्रयी. Hare Krishna. I'll read the first 10 translation. The gopis said, "O beloved, your birth in the land of Raja has made it exceedingly glorious, and thus Indira, the goddesses of fortune, always resides here. It is only for your sake that we, your devotees, servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the world of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maid servants who have given themselves to you freely, without any price. Isn't this murder? O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poisoned water, from the terrible man-eater Agha, from the great rains, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. You are not actually the son of Gopi Yashoda, O friend, but rather indwelling witness in the hearts of all embodied souls. Because Lord Brahma prayed for you to come and protect the universe, you have now appeared in the Satvata dynasty. O best of the Vrishnis, your lotus-like hand, which holds the hand of goddesses of fortune, grants fearlessness to those who approach your feet out of fear of material existence. O lover, please place that wish-fulfilling lotus hand on our heads. O you who destroy the suffering of Raja's people, O hero of all women, your smile shatters the false pride of your devotees. Please, dear friend, accept us as your maidservants and show us your beautiful lotus face. Your lotus feet destroy the past sins of all embodied souls who surrender to them. Those feet follow after the cows in the pastures and are the eternal abode of the goodness of fortune. Since you put once those feet on the hands of the great serpent Kalia, please place them upon our breast and tear away the lust in our heart. O lotus-eyed one, your sweet voice and charming words, which attract the mind of the intelligent, are bewildering us more and more. Our dear hero, please give your maidservants with the nectar of your your lips. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering the material world. These narrations, transmitted by the learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. Your smiles, your sweet, loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoyed with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon and they touch our hearts. But at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. Hare Krishna. And sorry, I must have made some few mistakes while saying I don't have much practice of this. Sorry for that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
It was nice, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, let us hear from Srila Prabhupada. I request devotees, please raise your hand, those who would like to read. Muralidharan Prabhu.
Divisions of faith. Therefore, Krishna says here, Trivida Bhavati Sraddha, Dehinamsa Swabhava Ja. If one is cultivating his life like hogs and cats and dogs, the behavior is also like that. And remaining in that position, so his faith and one who is advanced, who is worshipping deity and having 3 times bath and chanting mantras. Hare Krishna, they are not equal.
Yes,
should I continue? Yeah. That is not possible because one is situated in the Sattva Guna and the other is situated in Tamo Guna. Although the Tamo Gunas, the persons who are in the darkness of knowledge, they have got their faith. It is not that they have no faith. They have got faith, but that faith is in the lowest status of life. That faith will not help him for spiritual realization. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, 1-3, Honolulu, July 4th, 1974, Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada is explaining here, is clarifying. A person who is behaving according to his tendency and another person who is taking the guidance from the Guru Sadhu Shastra and acting accordingly, they are not on the same platform. They are in the different platform. One is acting just for sense gratification, or he is just acting because the 3 modes are pulling him to be like that. But the other person, even though he is he also has the tendency to act improperly, but still he is taking the shelter of the parampara, the Guru, the Sadhu, Shastra, and he is trying to go in the right path. Just like a person, if you in the flowing water, if you want to go against the current, then it needs a living fish or the living entity, only that can move against it. But if you just throw a wooden piece, it will only move in the current of the water. Similarly, when we take birth in this material world, we all have certain kind of tendency. Our senses have a certain kind of flow, vega, they want to achieve or they want to have. So if we just allow the senses to enjoy such things, just like animals, then there is no difference between animals and us being human being. So it is our duty to understand what is real meaning of life. That is called Athato Brahma Jijnasa. Why we have come here? Why I have got this human form of life? Why I am different from the animals? Why I am trying to find some happiness? Why I am not happy even though I get so many things in this material world? Or if you take the examples of people who have achieved so many things in the material world, but still why they are not happy? By checking all these things, we should understand that this is not what we are meant for. This is not the goal of life. Our senses are asking for so many things. Our mind is asking for so many things. If you just go on fulfilling them, it is not going to make us happy. Just like a small children, they'll ask so many things from the parents, but the parents will not fulfill all the demands of the children, because parents know what is good, what is not good. Certain things may be good, certain things may not be good. What is not good, that has to be avoided, and we have to educate the children that this is not correct. You should not do like this, even though you feel that this is nice, but still it is not good. Playing all the time is not good. You should go also to school. So if the children don't like to go to school, but parents has to make them understand that if you don't go to school, then you will remain like illiterate, or you cannot lead your life independently. So in this way, we have to understand what is the necessity for spirituality. If we don't take to spirituality, and if we live like animals, like cats and dogs, and if we just live our life like that, then there is no certain that we will get this human form of life once again, because this is very, very rare to achieve human form of life. Anityam arthadam. It is anitya. It is temporary, but it is arthadam. It is having a lot of value. It has to be utilized in the proper direction, and we have to make an arrangement such that we don't have to suffer this material world once again anymore. We should just put a full stop for all these sufferings by taking to Krishna consciousness, and getting the opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness is not ordinary. We have got this opportunity. Now we should make use of this. We have got the association of the devotees, and we have got the opportunity to serve the Lord. So make use of this and practice Krishna consciousness. Go back to Godhead. That is the requirement. We should understand one who is practicing Krishna consciousness and one who is running behind the sense gratification. There is a lot of difference between the two. They are not on the same platform. Now in this 17th chapter, what are the things are there? In the first 10 shloka, we have the faith, worship, and food. It is divided, or it is explained in 3 modes. What are the different types of faith? What are the different types of worships, and different types of food that is coming in the 3 modes of nature? And then from 11 to 22, the different types of sacrifices. The types of sacrifices and sacrifices in the 3 modes, austerities and charity. All these things are explained from 11 to 22. Then finally, this chapter ends with the explanation of the word Om, Tat, and Sat. These 3 words. Whatever we practice, whatever we do, if we do it as a offering to the Lord, then it will transcend the 3 modes, and it can be it will be purified. So in this way, a person can elevate himself from the 3 modes of life, and he can come to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, or the pure devotional service of the Lord. So what are the different types of austerities in the 3 modes? That is goodness, passion, and ignorance. In goodness, there are 3 types of austerity. That is austerity belonging to body, austerity belonging to the mind, and austerity belonging to the words, body, words, and mind. If you see the text number 14, Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimcha Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. The austerity of the body, it is explained in the text number 14 here. Worship of the Supreme Lord, Brahmanas, Guru, and superiors like the parents, and cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence, all these are constituting to the austerity of the body. That is the austerity which is done through the body. And the austerity through the words, or austerity of the speech, is speaking words that do not agitate others, that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and regular recitation of Vedic literature. All these constitute the austerity of the speech. Speaking is also a kind of austerity. That means we should not speak anything and everything that we feel like. We should always speak with proper our attitude or the intelligence we should use. Just like we should put a filter when we are speaking. We should whatever we speak once, it cannot be taken back. So what we speak, it will have effect on others. And if we simply go on speaking as just like as we like, then it is like we are declaring ourselves to be a foolish, or we're just showing our foolishness to others. So that is the austerity of the words, controlling of the speech. Vacho vegam, it comes in the Upadeshamrita. One who can control his words, he is the dhira. And next is the austerity of the mind, that is always satisfied, living a simple life. Gravity, that is silence whenever necessary, it is silence. And self-control, purity of the heart. These are the austerity of the mind that is explained in the text number 16. So these are the three types of austerities: body, words, and mind. Similarly, we can have text number 18 and 19 explaining about the passion and ignorance. The austerity in the modes of passion, that is out of pride, only for the respect and honor. If a person performs the austerity, then it is considered as passion. And the austerity in goodness, it is with transcendental faith, not expecting the material benefits and only for the sake of the Supreme. That is, when we are doing practicing the austerity, it is for the satisfaction of the Lord. Just like we do the Ekadashi Vrata, we don't demand anything from Krishna when we are practicing this. We don't say, Krishna, I am doing Ekadashi, so please do this for me. We don't have any such demand. So that is transcendental, or at least it is in the mode of goodness. And the this passion means only to show off. Somebody is looking at me, I just want to show off to others that, oh, I am such a great austere person, or for getting some appreciation. If you're doing this, then it is the austerity in the passion, in the mode of passion. And ignorance means out of foolishness. A person is doing, he himself don't know what he's doing. Just like in the modern youth, we can see somebody is following certain kind of fashion, and others also will start following it. But what is it? What is the meaning? Why I have to do this? They don't know. They just do it out of ignorance or foolishness. And sometimes self-torture, or destroying or injuring others. So all these things are the austerities coming under the ignorance. But Prabhupada emphasizes here about one thing, that is austerity of the words. Here it is told that one should speak only the truthfulness. That means one should not agitate others' mind while speaking. But this is in general. But for a spiritual master, when he is instructing the disciple, he should speak the truth, whether it is palatable or if even though if the truth is not very sweet, or it is not very easy to accept, but still the spiritual master has to speak the truth. Otherwise, the disciple will not understand, or the disciple will not advance, and he will not understand the mistake that he is doing. This has to be accepted, or this kind of instruction has to be accepted from the spiritual master by a disciple only whenever he is surrendered. So that's why we need the bond between the spiritual master and the disciple. Because the spiritual master has taken the responsibility of the person and accepted him as his disciple, he is instructing him. Just like in Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna did not speak anything to Arjuna as long as he told that Karpanya dosho pata swabhava prichamitvam dharma sammuda cheta yas shreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tam prapanyam. Accept me as your disciple. Then Krishna started scolding Arjuna. Arjuna, you are speaking like a intelligent person, but you are a fool. So that is how Krishna started his words in this Bhagavad Gita. So this speaking truthfully and very beneficially or pleasingly. This is in general, but when a spiritual master is speaking to the disciple, it should be truthful. It may not be very sweet words. So that is clarified in the next coming slides by Srila Prabhupada. We can read Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Austerity of speech. Anuveda Vega Karam Vakyam Satyam Priya Hitam Chaya. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. Bhagavad Gita 17.15. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Karunamai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru. Assert your speech. When the teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. 17.15.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So even while preaching also, we should speak the truth about the scriptures only if the person is accepting what we are speaking. Even at the end of this 18th chapter, Krishna is telling Arjuna and Sanjay is telling to Dhritarashtra, and overall, this is the instruction for all the people who have studied Bhagavad Gita. Don't preach these instructions for a faithless person or a person who is not austere, because it will not benefit him and it will not benefit us also. So don't waste your time. That is the instruction given. So only when there is a relation between the teacher and a student, then this kind of instructions has to be given, and it is given for the benefit of overall benefit of everyone. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Austerity of speech. It is a social convention that if you want to speak truth, you speak truth very palatable, flattering. Don't speak unpalatable truth, but we are not meant for that purpose. Not for that purpose and social convention. We are preacher, we are the servant of God. We must speak the real truth. You may like it or may not like it. That a godless civilization cannot be happy in any stage. That is a fact. Lecture to college students, Seattle, October 20, 1960. It's only, this last word is missing.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Babaji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So here Prabhupada is telling that we are not meant for just to please the people. Prabhupada spoke the truth for everyone, so that everyone will understand. So, and anyhow, the godless civilization is not happy. Even if you speak happy, good words or the fact, even if you speak, in both cases they are unhappy. So let them be unhappy by hearing that fact instead of becoming happy in the ignorance. Just like the ignorance is bliss. So let them not get the bliss in the ignorance. Let them be learn the truth, what is it, then understand the fact of this material world and get some benefit. Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Charity in the modes. There are three kinds of charity: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Sattvic charity in goodness is with due consideration. That is the worthy place to give charity in the hands of Brahmanas and Vaishnava, because they will employ whatever you give them in the service of the Lord.
Continue.
Okay. And Rajasic means for the sake of name. Oh, people will say, I am so charitable. That is Rajasic. Thank you, Prabhu.
Continue. Tamasic is that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And Tamasic, one who does not know where the money is going. Just like in the Bowery Street, that drunkard comes and polishes the motor car and somebody gives $5 and he immediately goes to drink. That means, this charity means give him impetus for drinking. Impetus for drinking. So if charity creates such drunkard, oh, that is very dangerous. He has to suffer, the man who is giving in charity. Lecture, Los Angeles, February 2, 1968. Thank you, Professor. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So the charity in three modes is explained in the next coming topic. So a goodness, charity in the goodness means it is given for a right purpose. That is, as a matter of duty. It is my duty. I am earning, and it is my duty to give charity for a good purpose, and without any expectation. I should not think that I am giving so much now. What do I get in return? Such things should not be there. And the time and place is also very important, where we give the charity. And for a person who is using it for a right purpose or a worthy person, if you are giving the charity, then it is the charity that is given in the sattva guna or in the goodness. And this is like if you are giving the charity for Krishna consciousness activities, then definitely it is going to benefit the person who has given the charity, and also the people who are taking the benefits of that. It is for their all well-being, because the Krishna consciousness is like absolutely good. It is like, because it is beyond the three modes, and whatever we do in the spiritual platform, it is called absolute platform. That means it is not a relative platform. In the material world, everything is relative. If you perform certain activity, it may be correct or it may be wrong based on the comparison with some other factors, because it is a relative. But in the spiritual platform, whatever we do, it is all good. If we are practicing Krishna consciousness, it is not that if you practice Krishna consciousness at this point of time it's good, at this point of time it's not good. Like that, it is not there. It is always good. It is always giving the spiritual benefit. So this is the absolute nature of spirituality. But in the next coming, the charity in the mode of passion, it is for getting some benefits or something in return, or to show that others are thinking that I am very charitable, and just to make a show of we are giving the charity, then it is the charity in the mode of passion or rajasic. And in tamoguna, out of disrespect, a person is giving something and it is not in the right place or with the right mood and time, and person is not knowing for what purpose this is being used. Such kind of charity, it is considered as the charity in the mode of ignorance. Finally, this chapter ends with the word Om Tat Sat. That means here, if you are doing this charity or any kind of activity by uttering the word Om Tat Sat, then it is considered as it is beyond the three modes. That is, it will become the transcendental. That is possible only when we are doing this for the sake of the Lord or for the pleasure of the Lord. Then it is this is the right way of doing the activities. So if you see the text number 23, from 23 to 28, it is the meaning of these words are given. Om Tatsaditi Nirdesho Brahmanyas Trividas Smritaha Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihita Pura. These three modes indicate the supreme absolute truth. Sorry, words. These three words indicate the supreme absolute truth, that is Vishnu, and are chanted by Brahmanas during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So by chanting this Om Tat Sat, one can transcend the three modes, the Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and it will be offered to the Lord. So please take out the Bhagavad Gita, text number 23, I'm sorry. Next, in the 24th text, each word is explained. 24 is explaining what is Om, 25 is explaining what is Tat, and 26 and 27, it is explaining the meaning of Sat, that is Om, Tat, and Sat. So, if you see text number 24, okay, let me take the Vedabase. So this is the meaning of Om. That is, therefore, transcendentalist undertaking performance sacrifices, charity and penance in accordance with the spiritual regulations begins always with the Om. That is to attain the Supreme. Then Tat, without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from the material entanglement. And the meaning of Sat is the absolute truth is the objective of devotional service, and it is indicated by the word Sat. So Sat means always, always there, which is present. Sat doesn't have the distinction. The explanation here. Sadbhave sadhubhave cha saditi etat prayujyate prashaste karmani tatha satchabda partha yujyate. So that is text number 26. Then 27. Yajne tapsi dane cha sthiti saditi chochyate karma chaiva tadarthyayam sadityeva abhidiyate. So that is the meaning of Sat. Sat refers to the Lord. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance and charity, which true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Pritha. So in this way, one has to chant Om Tat Sat while giving the charity, the austerity or sacrifices. These three things are explained elaborately in this chapter. Then finally, Krishna concludes, anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the Supreme, or Son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called as Asat and is useless both in this life and the next life. It is Asat, Sat and Asat. Sat means it is permanent. Asat means it is temporary. Then coming to the conclusion, we'll have a part of this. The 18th chapter also is a part of this same lesson today. So we have completed the 17th chapter. Let us see small portion of the 18th chapter today, because with this 17th chapter, Bhagavad Gita has ended. 18th chapter is just a summary of it. Whatever till now we have studied, it will be repeated. We can see most of the points in 17th chapter, it will be repeated in 18th chapter. Because if you see the topics here, the three modes are repeated in many places in the 18th chapter. And then the pure devotional service is also explained once again. So freedom from the bondage through Karma Yoga, because the first part of Bhagavad Gita, that is about Karma Yoga. Similarly, the first 12 texts of 18th chapter is also talking about the Karma Yoga. Then it also talks about the different factors that is needed for doing the activity, the factors for action. That is again a part of the Karma Yoga itself. Then from 18th text up to the text 40, it is talking about the modes, how these modes are controlling us, our activities and all our work, everything, whatever we do. So this is also in one sense connected to the karma or the activities that we do. First, it will speak about the bondages, how to get the freedom from the bondage, and what is the factors that will, 5 factors for the action, and then how these 3 modes are controlling our activities. Then till here it is only talking about the problem, that is up to 40, that is 50% of the 18th chapter. Then after 41 it is talking about the solution, how to get rid of this this contamination or the 3 modes. First of all, it talks about the practice of varnashrama, because varnashrama is like a stepping stone. Then it will talk about the Brahman platform. Then it will talk about the pure bhakti, that is pure Krishna consciousness to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Bhagavan Sakshatkara. And then finally Krishna gives the final instruction, that is whatever he spoke in the 9th chapter, Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru, how to practice Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna asks Arjuna to surrender. First he will give the option, Arjuna yatha ichchati tata kuru, just like a ideal teacher. He will not force Arjuna to do. It is not that Arjuna has to follow whatever Krishna has told. Krishna just says, Arjuna, Krishna, I have told you whatever I was supposed to tell you, so you do whatever you like. Then Arjuna says, Nashto moha smritir labdha. Krishna, I understood everything. Now, karishe vachanam tava. Whatever you say, I will do it. That is the conclusion. So every person who reads Bhagavad Gita should come to this conclusion. Then only his reading of Bhagavad Gita is perfect. Otherwise, he has to read Bhagavad Gita once again. So that is the requirement. Then the surrendering process. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. Krishna gives that instruction, and that is the final instruction in this Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. And that is the beginning of Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam explains how to surrender to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita says why to surrender to Krishna. So this is end of it. Then in the final text, 67 to 78, it is giving the conclusion, the glory of studying Bhagavad Gita, how Bhagavad Gita should be studied, and what is the benefit of studying and preaching Bhagavad Gita. All these things are explained. So let us see in brief what is 18th chapter. Once again, in the next week we will be studying this, the remaining part. So first part, it is talking about Karma Yoga, 1 to 12, 13 to 18 Jnana Yoga, and 19 to 40 control by 3 modes, 41 to 48 prescribed duties, that is Varnashrama Dharma. Then 49 to 54 again Jnana Yoga in the Brahma Bhuta state. This is up to 54. Then finally the pure devotional service, that will be explained in the next coming part. Yes. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Subuddhi.
Hare Krishna.
Raise oneself to the standard of goodness. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. 16.24 Papat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So 18th chapter, it has in the beginning, it has so many instructions regarding the 3 modes itself, how the 3 modes are controlling us, and how to come out of it. Even rather, more than 17th chapter, the 18th chapter has more examples about the 3 modes, about our all different kinds of activities. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Raise oneself to the standard of goodness. Without coming to the platform of Sattva Guna, nobody can advance in spiritual life. That is a fact. Just like nobody is allowed to enter the law college unless he is graduate. This restriction is there. What he will understand? Law. He must be a graduate. So similarly, first of all, one has to come to the platform of Sattva Guna. Then spiritual knowledge begins. Bhagavad Gita 17.1 to 3, Honolulu, July 4, 1974. Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you. So Sattva Guna is the minimum qualification for understanding Krishna consciousness. It doesn't mean that those who are in the lower mode cannot take to Krishna consciousness, but the real benefit one can feel it only when he comes to the Sattva Guna. Otherwise, it will act like a medicine in the beginning. A person may not like to practice Krishna consciousness, or a lot of resistance will be there from the system, from the senses, from the mind in the beginning. But as long as he practices more and more, he will come to the Sattva Guna and everything becomes pleasing. Then the person will be very happy to practice Krishna consciousness. The example is given, just like if you want to take the admission to a law college, then one should have the preliminary qualification. Then only he can take the admission. Otherwise, it is not possible. Similarly, there are many benefits that is explained by different Shastra in all the parts, like in Bhagavatam also, even Bhagavad Gita. If you study this Bhagavad Gita, if you study this portion of Bhagavatam, this will happen to you, this benefit you will get. But this is all happening, or it will all give the result only if we are in the Sattva Guna, or if we are really taking it in the proper spirit. Or otherwise, it will not give the real benefit. It will give some material benefit, but it will not give the actual benefit for what it meant for. So what we can understand from here, if we want to really take the benefit of this scripture or studying of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, one must at least come to the platform of Sattva Guna or goodness and practice Krishna consciousness, and then he can transcend the three modes. Muralidhar Prabhu.
Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. 14.17 purport. Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you. So mode of goodness is very much important to have a peaceful situation or an environment. If you have a cow shed, there are so many cows together. Even if you say hundreds of cows, 500 or 1,000 cows together, they will be always peaceful. They don't create problem to each other. But if you keep two dogs together, they'll make so much noise that everyone in the surrounding area will come to know that there are two dogs which are unknown to each other. So that is the difference between a person in mode of goodness and other modes. So in the society, if you bring this mode of goodness, then there will be always peaceful. There will not be any war. And the nature, Mother Nature also will be very happy to take care of the children or the living entities. The earth also produce profusely, and there will not be any scarcity. People will not remain hungry. All the problems of this world, whatever we have seen here, it may be a political or economic, all the problems, it can be easily solved by spreading this Krishna consciousness. So spreading Krishna consciousness make this world as Vaikuntha, and also it will take us to the real Vaikuntha. So it is always beneficial. Susukam kartam avyayam. Either it in this material world or in the spiritual world, it will give the benefit. So one has to take to the practice of Krishna consciousness and make his life successful. Radha Vallabhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then Pranam. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. Even one is not in goodness, even one is in the darkest part of the quality of ignorance, still he can be immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. So this Krishna consciousness movement is directly offering the spiritual platform, which is above the mode of goodness. The quality of goodness will automatically be there. Bhagavad Gita 2.40 to 45, Los Angeles, December 13, 1968. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, if it is even one is not in goodness, even one is in the darkest part of the quality of ignorance, he can be elevated to the spiritual platform. Because Krishna consciousness is giving something beyond Sattva-guna, beyond goodness. So when we are achieving goodness, when we are achieving beyond goodness, the goodness quality is already there. It's like a devotee is already a gentleman. All the good qualities are there. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvai gunays tattva samasatesvara. All the good qualities of human being, it's already there in the devotee, and also he has a special quality of being a devotee. That is, he is living for the satisfaction of the Lord. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadasya chaye cheta itar anavidham sthitam sattve prasidati.
Yeah, continue.
Sthitam sattve. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.19 quoted in 7.1 purport. Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. This is a shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam where it explains the importance of Shravanam or hearing. So how the hearing of the pastimes of the Lord will purify our heart. So by spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, the whole world become like a Vaikuntha. So we have come to the conclusion of this chapter, this lesson. Understanding presented an overview of the Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 and 18 and discussed the merits of various religious practices and reference to the Krishna's analysis of faith in the modes as described, and discussed appropriate and inappropriate charity and importance of developing mode of goodness in the practice of Krishna consciousness, and Krishna consciousness independent of the mode of goodness. It is beyond that. Finally, because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober. In full knowledge of things as they are, then people will be happy and prosperous. So in this way, one can come to Krishna consciousness and always be happy. Even if the majority of the people are not happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility of peace and prosperity all over the world. So it is not necessary that 100% people have to take Krishna consciousness to make this world happy. Even 1% of the people, if they take to Krishna consciousness, then this world can become like a Vaikuntha. That 1% is not easy. It is not a small number. It's a very big number. But as to if you take the entire population, it's a small. But if you are reaching so many people through Krishna consciousness and making them devotees, then this world will become like the place where the Lord is glorified in each and every place. So in this direction, many devotees are working. They are preaching the message of Godhead by given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Srila Prabhupada, and they are putting all their effort. So whatever possible, whatever extent we can, we should take the knowledge, we should understand, we should practice it in our life, and then we should try to spread this to others as well. We should bring more and more people to this Krishna consciousness movement, and we should make our life also successful through that. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If anybody has any question, they can raise their hand. Yeah, Muralidharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It is just an observation after you were describing, we keep some people in esteem and follow their, guidance or follow their instructions. For instance, politicians for the matter, they make lots of promises and lots of giveaways and gifts, and they have the power to give also. They give money, they give items, they give electricity, they give different kinds of imaginary benefits. But I am surprised how a state can be under that influence of the lie, not for 5 years, but even 10 years. 10 years, the same group of people are pulled in by the promises. I think the mode of nature that must be existing should definitely be tamogun, if it is not passion, because how can you be fooled twice over, and that too for a period of 10 years? I'm referring to a state in India, which is not a state, it is just a municipality. But the people, the rulers there imagine that they are ruling the world by giving away some small gifts and telling hundreds of lies. And they even won a new state by stating lies. Within a month, the lie had been opened up and all the promises have vanished into thin air. How does that, what is the power that the politicians or the ruler is using to entice people by telling such a lot of lies?
I'm not a politician, but anyhow, they are doing it by propagation. I'm not able to answer this question directly.
Thank
yeah,
you,
it is
bro.
happening,
Thank
but
you.
we can see in our eyes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session. Enlightening one. Prabhuji, I just have a little clarification needed. Please help. So, Prabhuji, in the chapter 7, we had learned that people who are less intelligent, they worship the demigods. So, I was having an understanding, I have an understanding that people who worship the demigods, it is because it is due to their ignorance, passion and ignorance, why they do not go to the Lord. Yeah. But when we talk about that, when they worship the demigods, it is like the men in the mode of goodness. It says in verse 17.4, men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. So I got a bit confused with this line. Like, is it because, there are people who worship the demigods. So is it like they're doing it because they're situated in the mode of goodness? But since they have certain desires, hankerings, so that is internally, it is due to their passion and ignorance that they are sticking to worshipping the demigods. Is this the way we should understand? And gradually they're getting elevated to the mode of goodness? This
is a comparative statement, Mataji. If you see the previous text in the 17th chapter, where it is told that the demigod worship are less intelligent. It is like before that it is telling about the pure devotional service.
Okay.
So from there you are coming down. That's why Krishna is telling who worships demigods are less intelligent. So compared to the previous category of people, those who are directly doing devotional service to the Lord, as compared to them, these people who worship the Lord for material benefit, not knowing that it is temporary, they are less intelligent. But here, this is different kind of comparison between goodness, passion, and ignorance. In goodness, if you are worshipping a demigod, it is like a gentleman's business. You go to a demigod, you fulfill their desires, whatever demigod is telling. Even though Shastra also tells, even among the 18 Purana, there are there are 6 Purana which are in goodness, 6 Purana which are in passion, 6 Puranas which are in ignorance. So these kind of scriptures also tell us how to worship the demigods and get the material benefit. They are much better than the people who are in this passion and ignorance, because their kind of worship is ghastly, or they are creating so much of trouble. And people who worship the demigods, they are peaceful, and by definition itself, they are in goodness.
Okay.
But the person in the previous, it is comparing with the pure devotional service. Krishna is coming down there. He first explains the pure devotional service. Then he says, after listening to all these things, after understanding all the benefits of worshipping Krishna directly, still if somebody is worshipping the demigods, he is having less intelligence.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Prabhuji, I have one more question. Prabhuji, when we talk about people will be able to elevate themselves, so is it a gradual process, step by step? They have to, like for example, if a person is situated in the mode of ignorance, he can directly take up to the mode of goodness by following the practices, or he has to first purify himself and elevate himself to the stage of passion first, and then only he can come to the mode of goodness? Is it so, Prabhuji?
No, Mataji, this is like in Varnashrama system, there is a gradual increasing levels. We cannot bring a person from ignorance to goodness immediately because of his tendency. He will not like it. Just like a child is waking up to 7 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly you cannot make him to wake up at 4.
Okay.
You should make him wake up at 6:30, then 6 o'clock, then 5. That is gradual process which is done in the Varnashrama system, which is a stepping stone towards the spirituality.
Yes.
But the spiritual practice that Krishna consciousness is giving, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, or Srila Prabhupada is prescribing, it is so powerful that it can bring anybody to the transcendental platform from whatever situation they may be. But this is possible only by the mercy of the devotee and in association of the devotees. Just like you just take the child to another place where you have a residential Gurukul. Certainly he will easily come to the platform of getting up 4 o'clock attending Mangalarati. This is not because of his own effort. It is because of the association and the mercy of the devotees that they show. So this is possible only by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of the pure devotees. It is possible. Just like Jagai and Madhai got quickly delivered. It is by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Otherwise, if we are staying ourselves in one place and practicing spirituality, then it's a gradual process. It will take so many lifetime for a person to come to Krishna consciousness, or to understand that one has to practice pure devotional service.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I have 2 questions. First is Krishna consciousness dependent or independent of mode of goodness? That is what I want to know. And second question is, today's activity which you gave, the clarity on it was not there, especially on the second part.
Okay, let me see the first one. So goodness is needed or not if you are practicing?
Are they both dependent or independent of each other? Krishna consciousness and mode of goodness. Is Krishna consciousness dependent or independent of mode of goodness?
Krishna consciousness is not dependent on mode of goodness, but we need goodness for coming to the Krishna consciousness. It is just like if you want to take off, you need a runway for the aircraft. So goodness will create that runway so that he can easily elevate himself from the 3 modes. For example, there are certain kind of austerity people will do. Even though it is not recommended in the Shastra, they will practice it. And by practicing that such kind of austerity, they will have that ability to give up certain kind of habits, bad habits. And giving up that bad habits will make them easily come to Krishna consciousness. Even though in the beginning they have not taken to Krishna consciousness, but still certain kind of practices they have made, because of which they came to goodness. It is very easy to preach to such people. Say, for example, somebody got attracted to yoga. Now in the yoga, they say you should wake up early in the morning, before sunrise you should wake up. It's a goodness. And you should eat only the food which is easily digestible. They will not tell you directly, don't eat non-veg. They'll tell what is easily digestible and what is good for our digestive system. In that way, they will tell indirectly. So if you practice that, it is easy to bring them to Krishna consciousness, because we can connect them to the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yoga says practice of Ashtanga Yoga. And sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita says the final conclusion of Ashtanga Yoga is to come to Krishna consciousness. Dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yogino yasyantam na vidusura suragana devaya tasmino. The constantly, if a yogi is able to think of the Lord continuously, then he is the perfect yogi. And what the Ashtanga Yoga is telling, the same thing. So it is very easy to bring such people to Krishna consciousness, and it is very difficult to preach to the people who are in ignorance. If you try to preach, if you see if you read Lilamrita of Srila Prabhupada, what kind of people Prabhupada has preached? For us, it is like before Prabhupada, there are many people went to abroad, and instead of preaching them, they themselves got affected. They gave up the dress of dhoti kurta and they also started wearing pant shirt. Such things have happened. So it's very difficult to preach to the people who are in the mode of ignorance. And it is very dangerous also. It is not recommended also. So those who are in the mode of goodness, even if you go to schools and colleges, those who are children who are in very pious, coming from pious community, they'll be easily taken to Krishna consciousness. Those who are in very passionate or ignorant, they'll be against it. They'll just run away. So goodness, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on goodness, but this goodness will help us because we are in the modes. Among the three, which is the best? That is goodness.
But Prabhuji, like many devotees, they join, I would say, when the neophytes join at the 18 days class, then they are into all that kind of tamas activity. They are non-veg eaters. They don't follow regulative principles. And slowly in Krishna consciousness, they are giving up those habits. Is it not the other way around? That is what I thought.
No, it is the side effect only. It is not the real benefit.
So Krishna consciousness itself is independent of mode of goodness, but mode of goodness assists in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Okay. And today's activity.
Yeah, what happened, Mataji? It was just to, what was the activity? The instruction was specific reference to the Krishna's analysis of faith in the modes as described in the Bhagavad Gita. So how the different types of faith in the modes, different modes, just like Prabhuji told the example of Hitler. The person who he wanted money, and in black market he could make money. So he started worshipping Hitler. So that is an example how people worship different people depending on their requirement. That is one kind of example you can give.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Shri Hari Priya Mataji. Sorry, Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I just want to ask you about the word Abhijadasya in the 16th chapter that we used at two different aspects. One is to show the divine qualities and also to show the demonic qualities. So what is more important? Like that Abhijadasya it is an inborn character or it is a general word. How we can say that this is significant under this condition and this is significant under this condition? Why it is so significant?
No, what here it is telling that the person is born with the qualities. Abhijatasya means born with the different qualities. So if it is born with good quality, he will have developed such kind of qualities. Just like small children practice Krishna consciousness at very early age.
Yeah.
That is abhijatasya in the positive way. In the negative way, if the person is in the ignorance, or if he is practiced bad qualities in his previous life, even without having any association, also the person can show some certain bad qualities in his life.
Okay. Another thing, Prabhuji, many scientists, they are doing the philosophical and practical studies, research work, they are doing it. But in many cases, the research work is not at all in terms with Krishna consciousness, not in the mode of goodness also. We say that yesterday we discussed this in our BV class. We know that now we went to moon and also we are ready to go to Mars and settle down there and all. But under this condition, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is not telling that we can directly go to moon and Mars, because in order to reach such planets, we should have that kind of a body. So you mean to say that the people have to give up the body here, then they have to do some such kind of karma, and due to that we will have that kind of elevation going to the higher planets. How can you correlate the scientist activity and with the spiritual this thing, understanding?
Yeah, Prabhupada was very bold in answering this question. He boldly told they never gone to moon.
Hare Krishna, Hare
He
Krishna.
have not proved it, but he boldly told they have never gone to the moon. They have gone to somewhere else. So going to moon, or even if you are gone, how much time you can stay there? It is not the place for staying. They just told what you found there. We found some stones and mud. It is already there here. Why did you go there to collect it? It is not possible. If you want to go and stay there, you should get the visa. Otherwise, they will kick you. You cannot go to any of the countries without passport and visa. Similarly, if you are going to other planets and make a settlement there, you should be qualified. Austerity is the price that one has to pay if you want to go to the other planets. So going to other planets is not so easy. And whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
So as a devotee of Lord Krishna, we can always remember that they have not gone to all higher planets because they have not done that kind of a karma. So scientists' work is a waste of time, isn't it?
You can read the book Easy Journey to Other Planets, which was published during that particular time only.
Okay,
when Americans were declaring that we have gone to America, gone to moon, Prabhupada published this book, Easy Journey to Other Planets. Please read it. It is speaking in the scientific language only.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this is regarding, I just want to know about that chapter 16, what we read. There are two words over there we were discussing, pravritti and nivritti. The meaning of that in question number 1 with the closed book examination, what you have given the questions, Prabhuji, that is in the question 18, which is from chapter 16. So the meaning of pravritti and nivritti in this book is given is in the Bhagavad Gita. It is pravritti is acting properly and nivrittim is not acting improperly.
Actually, I wanted to discuss this in the meeting itself. That's why I did not answer there itself in the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp message by Sarita Mataji. So I kept so this is nivritti, not acting improperly. And here it is telling nivrittim, improper action.
Yeah, so, 2 separate books are there, I think so.
Yeah, it's just some grammatical changes they made. But if you see what is the overall meaning here, it is talking about the demonic nature, tendency. It is telling a person who is demonic, he don't know what is right, what is not. That is the only meaning here. A demonic person, he doesn't know what is correct and what is wrong. So that is explained here as pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti means what is to be done, and nivritti means what is not to be done. He don't know. That means he don't know what is to be done, and he don't know what is not to be done. So he will do what is not to be done, and he will not do what is to be done. That is, he is just doing the reverse. That is the meaning. So with that, if you see the meaning here, you can see nivrittim, not acting improperly. That means a demon, he doesn't know how to act properly. So nivritti means he is not acting properly. So he is acting improperly. And nivritti, here if you see, improper action, that means he is acting improperly. So this is more direct meaning. That means nivritti means improper action. He is not acting properly. That is explained there. It means that he is acting improperly. So there is no need to get so much into the meaning here. The overall meaning is explained in the translation. Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. That is the meaning that we have to take. This is because of the grammatical differences we get confused. But there is no need to take it so seriously. The overall meaning is a demon does not know what is right, what is wrong.
Give him the money.
Yeah, that is the only meaning here. Hope this.
So the meaning is the practically which will take up is an improper action. It does not know improper action, no?
Yeah, in a simple way, it is told that a demon does not know what is right and what is not. What is right is pravritti, what is not is nivritti. He don't know that. That is the explain. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha jana na vidu. Na vidu means he doesn't know. Because there are two negatives, then it will little gets confused. Nivritti is also negative word and na vidu also negative word. That's why there is some confusion.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarita Mataji also. Hare Krishna. I had put the WhatsApp message.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we had discussed in the Bhakti.
If I answer this in WhatsApp, it may not be clear. So I thought of answering that. Yes, Muralidharan Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you were saying, this is in the previous chapter, 16th one, that all these 26 qualities, we discussed, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the printed version of my book, in the page 704, it is saying all these 16 qualities.
704.
Page 704, this is 2019 publication. First publication, 60,000.
Okay. Text number 7, no?
No, 1 minute. Page 704 is text number 3. Elaborate, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be by mistake, Prabhu.
16 है ना? Printed आपका दिखता है?
Text number. Okay. Chapter 16, text number
3. Text 3, page 704. Right at the bottom paragraph beginning in my case.
Yeah. Text number 1, 2, 3. They all are together giving the meaning. The first quality begins with fearlessness, that is abhaya. And the last 26th quality is nati manita.
Agreed, Prabhuji. 26 correct hai, but here print mein 16 likha hua hai.
Yeah, it may be a mistake.
And even the millennium, what do you call that, kalpa count, also there is an error, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I will tell you the page number later, not for today. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare.
I think then such a book should be returned and replaced, probably.
Yeah, that may be.
We have to ask Prabhuji for that support.
No, that is fine. There is some little bit errors here and there that needs to be corrected.
Is it locally printed or all this is centralized somewhere?
It is BBT printed only.
Okay.
There are some grammatical changes that is made in the next edition. Maybe you are having the old one. We have one more new edition. Means
after 2019, when we started.
So you are having the latest one?
Yeah, that's what they said. This is the latest.
Okay.
2000, I'll tell you, 2019, 13th publication or something this is.
This is.
I'll tell you the version also. It's written here. Yeah, 13th printing of 2019 June. 60,000 copies. This is latest. Is there a later version? Then I stand corrected.
This text only, no? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a further place we can recheck, no?
Yeah. Do you have any?
Yeah, purport last, third verse, last paragraph, beginning of that. In this, it is all these 26, correctly put as 26 qualities.
Yeah, it is correct.
In mine, it is printed 16.
It has been already revised.
Okay. So I have to see the copies I have purchased now. I have purchased 10 copies for distribution. 3 have already gone. I've not seen the 26 and 16.
Doesn't make much difference anyhow.
Yeah. But it is making a difference in that, millennium total count of the Kalpa.
Okay.
Instead of billion, it is printed million.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. 110 trillion and so many billion. That billion is printed as million.
They want to check whether we are reading properly or not.
That's true. But I think these sessions that you are taking at these times, where we have a little more freedom to actually go deep and really read those paragraphs and words and understanding the thing, is really making a difference, Prabhuji. It is, because I did many times understanding Gita, but all the total times did not reach to reach at this stage that is there is 16 or 26 or what is the next stage.
This is also less, Prabhu. Actually, we can do even more elaborate study on Bhagavad Gita.
And that would be taking months together for each chapter, probably. But I think Bhagavad Gita, I don't know if anybody can confidently say, I know the full purport that Prabhupada ji has written.
You can speak for hours for one shloka.
Absolutely. And he has gone into the depth in such a level that I think it's like telling, I know the word, that is Microsoft Word. If somebody says, I know everything, every dimension, then he's definitely fooling. He's not telling the truth. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It is in reference to what Muralidharan Prabhu was saying. So, I heard in one of the Guru Maharaj session that if there are such issues, so we should go and put it to the BBT, raise this concern so that at least wherever some mistakes are there, it can be corrected.
Yes, Mataji. We can do that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, actually, even I faced a similar situation. What Prabhuji had faced, even I have the old edition. I realized when I was reading through it, and it was not matching with the Veda base, the words were totally different. So then I brought this one.
Yeah,
this is the
latest
new edition which I got later. Yeah. So
just see the print inside. What is the printing date? Please see.
The date is quite new, Prabhuji.
Date name, month.
Yeah, 48. This is 48 printing. This is January 2022. This is the new edition.
Fantastic. That must be the latest.
Yes.
For the marathon, it must have gone to people, I think, surely.
Not
the
sure,
Gita marathon,
because it is very difficult to find this new edition here in UK, in the UK. So,
you're very
luckily
lucky.
I got
You're
it.
very
Yeah.
lucky.
Otherwise, they have the old version only. I mean, the editions might be different, the publishing dates, but the cover page is the same as you showed, no?
No, cover doesn't change.
Yeah, so the edition and the publishing the dates might be different for the new ones. Maybe.
It makes the difference only for those who deep study. Otherwise, it will give the proper message. That in that case, there is no problem.
Yes.
But I was reading, Prabhuji, in Reddit. Reddit is a medium of this one where India Speaks is a particular page. And they were discussing, congratulations, now the Bhagavad Gita will be taught in the school as a curriculum in the new edition of the policy for education. Yeah. And somebody was commenting, no, it is not like that. It is mentioned that women are far below all the standards. Women don't have any status in the Bhagavad Gita. Like we had discussed, what was the context in which Prabhupada ji says the woman is weaker or woman is a little more, needs little support. That person had misinterpreted to say that they don't give any status and they don't consider women as human beings or something like that. And then I saw that idea of that person was he's an ex-Hindu. Now coming with new topics to discuss and create a ruffles. And Bhagavad Gita is a topic of discussion in various ways where misinterpretations are regularly made. I think we should have somebody on the Reddit to really, if not counter, at least present, this is what it says. But I don't know who's going to read it.
We can do it in the higher level, not need to go to their level. If it is education purpose, then we can give the instruction in that platform itself. There is no need to go to their platform to correct them. Because when the higher authority is declaring or giving the proper explanation, then they has to accept it. So no need to go to their platform in which they are commenting. We have the broader way of communication.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare.
Time.
Thank you for coming to the class. So we had a wonderful discussion. Yeah, hope everyone has given the attendance.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming for today's session and actively participating. So next class will be our last class in this unit 3. So your result also will most probably come in this week, the previous CBA. So thank you.
Prabhuji
Prabhuji,
will have,
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji,
we'll have
give the
class on
next
first.
question paper, Prabhuji. We will prepare answers.
No, I'm not talking about the exam. First is the last 18th chapter, not over.
Okay.
We'll have class on first, and Prabhuji.
You don't want?
No, it's okay.